Let's talk about some if, and some ifs. Here we have a table showing the name of students, the sex, school, and test score. Let us get the sum or the total test scores. Let's go here, down here. We type equals, then sum, parentheses, then we'll highlight the test scores. Okay. And then close parentheses, hit enter. So we have a sum of 760. You can also go to this empty cell here and go up here, click sum, hit enter. Still, it gives us the same total score, which is 760. You can delete this and go to computing the average score. So let's type equals, then the word average, parentheses, then we can highlight, close, then enter. The average score is 25.3333. If you want to reduce this to fewer decimal places, you may do it by going up here and clicking twice, depending on how many decimal places you like. So the average score now is 25.33. Now let's dive into our examples for some if and some ifs. Let's start with the some if. Let me use the space here before we go to this part. So to sum if, let's type equals, then sum if. It says here adds the cell specified by a given condition or criteria. So we'll continue with parentheses. Then we need a range, a criteria, and the sum range. So let's input first the range. The range would be the range where your criteria will be taken. So here we have the non-numeric range, the sex column. Then the criteria would be, say, I want the male, to get the total scores of all the male students. So I'll type quote male, then quote, then comma, enter the sum range. These are the numbers. So let's highlight the test scores, parentheses, then hit enter. So we have 415. The total scores, test scores of all the male students is 415. There's another way to use the SUMIF function. So here we can see the sex, and this is a drop-down list. So we have male and female. You can choose either one of these. And to create a drop-down list, you just go to data and choose data validation. You can create or allow list, then type your options here in this box here, then click OK. So now if I choose male, this will be our criteria. Let me just change the word sex to criteria so that will be guided. And then let's now use the SUMIF function. So type equals, then SUMIF, parentheses, let's enter the range. Again, this is the non-numeric value or column. Then comma, now the criteria, we just click on this cell here, the G2, comma again, then enter the sum range, the test scores. So all of the test scores of those male students will be, what's this, total. Parentheses, then hit enter. So we have 415. Whether you have typed your criteria like this one, we have typed the word male here, or you make use of a reference cell to your criteria, we will still get the same answer. But there's an advantage on using a drop-down list like this one, because when you change this to female, the SUMIF function, the value for the SUMIF function will also change. So here we have 345 total score for all the female students. So you can change it to male, which is 415, or female, which is now 345. Let's talk about the SUMIFs function. This time, we're going to have two criteria. Criteria 1 is the sex, criteria 2 is the school. Now for the sex, let me choose female, and for the school, let's choose Richmond. Let me just adjust the width. Now let's proceed to using sum ifs. Let's type equals, then sum ifs. We can double click here. Now let's enter the sum range. When we did the sum if function a while back, we entered the sum range at the last. But this time for sum ifs, it's the first thing that we need to highlight the sum range. So now we need to highlight the test scores. This is your sum range. Then comma, enter the criteria range 1. This is the range where your first criteria is taken. So let's highlight the column for sex, then comma. Now your criteria 1, which is female. So let's just click here. This is cell G5. Then comma again. You highlight your criteria range 2. The second range where your second criteria will be taken. So it's gonna be the school. So highlight the school. Then comma again. Then enter the next criteria, which is the school. It's Richmond here. Let's click cell G6. It says here you can enter another criteria if you want. If you have more of it, then you can have more than 2 criteria and ranges. This time I'll end with criteria 2, so I'll close this, then hit enter. Now I have an answer of 62. Let's go to this table and check if the answer is really 62. So let's look at the females coming from Richmond School. So we have here 24 plus 19 plus another 19. So let's sum that up equals, let's sum plus this one plus another one. Hit enter. So we have 62. You can also change your criteria if you wish. So say from female, you want male. You can also change the school to Springfield. So notice that the answer here changes to change another school to Shermer. Change the criteria 1 again to female. So you can change whichever you like as your criteria using this drop-down list. This is how we use the sum if, and sum ifs function in Excel. If you have time, do check out my other videos. Once again, thank you for watching.